I'll order Uber Eats and I'm like, okay, I'll off, and then Uber Eats comes and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to eat now.
Yeah.
I'm done eating. What? Okay,
I'll time it.
Can I off again?
I'll time my DoorDash to when I'm done masturbating.
Yes!
Like it's gonna arrive.
Masturbating while you're waiting for food is the best. Oh yeah, therapists are some of the most evil people I know. Hi,
Well, always the most
We're here with Nikki Glaser.
The most fucked up person in your high school class is always the one that's like, I'm a therapist now.
Oh my
and you're
God,
like,
you're so
oh,
right.
You're insane.
Yeah.
Nikki, we're so happy to have you back
So
on.
happy to be here.
We were talking before we started recording about jealousy, a lot of great topics, but one of them that I was like, it made me ponder, and I wanted to save this for when we were recording. The jealousy thing. So you're a cuck. Would you describe that? Or
A cuck, like, I think infers that you like to be like in the corner tied up and kind of like, why are you my boyfriend? Stop it.
it can include humiliation. Yeah.
It's, I don't like the humiliated part. I like the part of like, yeah, you can him.
Yes.
Like, good, nice. Try
I'll
to get
allow
him
it.
away from me.
Yeah.
I want you to try to think that you're gonna steal him from me, and I like. And it's not about that. It's not about like, oh, little girl, I'm gonna embarrass you or anything. It's there's that element to it, but I just find that it's like sexy to have. I realize I'm competitive, and I want to keep competing for my whole relationship the rest of my life, and to always feel like I'm winning. And that's a really sad thing. Like, don't you ever feel safe, Nikki? It's like, I do, but I don't like feeling safe. I like feeling.
Boring.
Even with stand-up, like I realize sometimes I smoke weed intentionally before I go on stage because I want to feel anxious, and I'm bored with feeling. I feel comfortable now, and I want to feel like anxious again.
I get that.
And I just talked to my doctor about it because I was like, my psychiatrist, because I'm trying to figure out my med situation, and I'm like, why do I seek out weed? Like, why is because I struggle with weed because it's like. Makes me feel great in the short term, and then in the long term, it ends up like depressing me, and I feel like dependent on it, and it makes me feel dumb and all the things. And I'm like, why? And then I figured out on my own as I was talking to him. I was like, I like the thing that people complain about, the paranoia you get, like the overthinking. I like that. That gets me to be like, I'm not doing enough. Like, okay, I need to work now. And
It's a
then
motivator.
It motivates me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, I've always felt such guilt about why I want to smoke weed all the time, and I'm realizing no, it's just because I want to be productive and I want to feel better.
Yeah.
I don't know, I have a lot of cucking. Yeah. I think that's what we're talking about. God damn it! I skipped therapy this week. This is clearly
jealous. Well, you
outlet.
came to the right
place to
place.
be.
I really did.
But like, so you're not a jealous person, a jealous girl. Like I'm trying to write this bit about like I never thought I was a jealous girlfriend until I dated a guy that other people wanted to fuck. Like I never dated like a hot guy.
That's so funny.
And
you
I'm
just
like-
always thought you were like
I
so
thought I was
cool,
so cool.
but you were just dating guys that
no
one
one
else
else
wanted.
That's a great
And now
concept.
my boyfriend, he's
so funny.
Irish, he's handsome, he's a singer, he's tall.
Oh
like, he's
yeah,
got-
I know your boyfriend.
Yeah, he's super
oh
handsome.
my God,
Like, he's
yes.
a dream to me.
Yeah, he's a musician. He's a
Yes.
front man.
He's a dreamy, he's
Yeah.
a dreamboat. And so, and usually like in the past when women would have my boyfriends, I'd be like, yeah, that's right. He's fucking sexy.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, get the fuck away. What are you doing?
Right.
Shoot. And I'm like, Krystyna, who are you?
Maybe it's because he's the one. You know, like
Oh.
maybe that's it.
Oh, maybe.
Or maybe you truly are threatened. Like, do
I don't
I don't
know.
want to say that you don't trust him. Is there a part of you that doesn't?
No, I
though?
do. No, I do trust him. We have a really good communication, but I'm like, this. It's more like it's internal on my end. I'm like, what is happening here? But
Right.
the only thing I can think of is, oh, you never dated a hot guy before.
Yeah, that it's actually there is a threat there because girls
Yeah.
are coming at him even harder. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's I think part of why I want that. I want other girls to be into my boyfriend so that he has that value where I'm like, oh, okay, I got a prize. I'm like,
Yeah.
because I know I love him and he could look like whatever now and
Yeah.
I'd still love him. But now it's like, oh, okay, he's still. I got a
still
little
got it.
trophy. Like I want.
Yeah.
I like
You
nice
parade him around.
things. No, I don't even like nice things. I don't even know why I said that. I don't. Like I don't drive a nice car. I don't have a nice home. Like I just don't. I don't
Yeah,
really.
I saw your Instagram story. You're like, I want jewelry in the $50 to $300 range.
Yeah, and even that I felt like, what am I? I'm bougie.
I feel like that,
I
though.
don't like nice
agree with
things because
you.
I will lose them.
Yeah.
And my mom told me as a kid, like you ruin everything you get. That's not like I get.
Yeah, me
I
too.
spill chocolate on things. I
Yeah.
eat Kind bars. It's spilling everywhere. Like I have fanny packs. Like I don't like nice things, but there's something about like the friends I keep, the people I associate with. Like
Sure.
I want them to be people that everyone else goes, man, I wish I could be friends with that person. Like I like the people I'm around. That elevates me. It gives me, I guess, sense of self-esteem.
Yeah, but those are things that actually are valuable, though. Because like I was saying the other night, I was like, I don't understand an expensive engagement ring. That actually pisses me off because it's a waste of money, and we just bought into it. We're all saying, yes, we agree that if he doesn't give you a very fancy ring, he doesn't love you. That would piss me off so much if my fiance got me like an expensive ring. I wouldn't like it
unless they could like really afford it.
Right.
Then it's fine. But if it's like 3 months of their salary or something, that's really reckless and a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
And most people can't tell the difference between like a fake thing and a nice.
I know.
Am I crazy? Like, do you guys have good taste? Can you tell the difference when something's like fine jewelry or from?
No,
like,
but I used to date a guy who was an actual jeweler, and he could tell. So you need to be a jeweler to be able to tell.
Exactly. You have to be an expert.
So
and
he studied it. Yeah.
Right. And was he always? Did he have that little thing with him?
Yeah,
constantly?
He didn't carry it with him. He had it at work though. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know the difference between nice stuff and not nice stuff. Like, as long as it's new looking, I don't know, and like kept nice.
Yeah,
But yeah,
same.
I think that I've never cared about jewelry or like a ring. And I only ask to see girls' rings because I just think that's the right thing
It's
to
like
do.
socially, yeah.
I asked too, but then when they show me, I'm like, oh, goddamn.
I know. Sometimes
That's
I'm
really
like, he
nice.
does love you more than someone who doesn't get that big of a ring. Yeah, it works. And I would want that.
Yeah.
In
But
some way.
historically, it's also like it's expensive because like in olden days, it was supposed to be like some kind of like a doubt. Like it's supposed to like a
dowry.
be something that's worth something. So if he you over, you have this money on your finger, but we've just carried it over. Like mostly everything about weddings, I think, is pretty archaic.
Yeah, and about property and ownership.
Yeah,
and,
so it's kind of just like things that were actually like providing security for the woman, but now it doesn't really matter. And I mean, most women, well, not I don't want to say most women, but a lot of women would give it back. I think there's like 50% of women who would give it back because it would be too emotionally hurtful, and then the other half would be like, I'm selling it, it's mine.
Well, I've always thought it's weird that you like can't put a ring on that finger if you're not like that finger is like my best finger.
I know, mine too.
It's a good
It's so
finger.
slim.
And I
It's
still
so
do.
slim.
I put a ring on it, but I'm just like, I hope no one takes that serious. Like, but that's so weird that ring is just for women who are married and you can't do it otherwise. And then I also think and it's a sign to be like, don't talk to her.
Right.
Yeah.
She's taken, like, this
Right.
is my little, I put a stamp on her.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
men,
branding.
I think it's funny. Was working on a bit about how men have to, like, wear rings when they get married because, like, women don't want to date men with jewelry. So it's, like, almost like, don't fuck him. He has jewelry. So, but I'm like, I think we need to update it. We need to get that, like, I was like, we should do, like, a wedding fedora. Like, they just have to wear a fedora everywhere, or, like, a tank top or something. He's taken. Girls, don't talk to him.
He's got his wedding tank.
Yeah. But,
Would you get married?
No, because I remember Ali Wong saying this to me once. She was like, we don't need to get married. We like are on stage every night getting attention all the time. Like most women don't have that. That's their day to be famous and like to get attention from strangers. And we don't need that. She went ahead and got married and had a whole wedding ceremony eventually.
Right.
But I do feel that way. I'm like, I don't know. Every time I do something big, like all my family gets together and celebrates it and watches it, I just feel like I would feel ridiculous. I'd be like, what did I didn't earn
all I
this.
did was love this guy.
Yeah, I didn't work for this. I didn't write for this, or I didn't work really hard. But I do think I've changed my stance on weddings, and I do think women should invest in them a lot and like spend a pretty dime to have the best day of your life, because it is the closest you'll ever get to feeling like a famous person in your life.
'Cause the bride
if you're
is
not a
it.
famous person,
Right.
The bride
And if
is-
you are, and being engaged, like even the lead up. Like I think be engaged as long as you can, because people, if you're someone who seeks attention from strangers, pregnancy belly. And saying fiance and people going, oh, you're engaged. Like no one cares once you're married. No one gives a about hearing about your life. But at engagement, you get so much attention. And then like your wedding, like everyone comes together that loves you and says and cries about you. And
it's
it
pretty
becomes
sick.
more than about like this union. People start just like, it almost becomes like eulogizing. Like the next time people will do this is at your funeral. So enjoy this moment. And then that's why people have kids. I think that's the reason people have kids quickly after they get married, is because there's such a buildup. They have such a purpose. They're planning this wedding. They're trying to get married. Everything's building. And then if
They're
there's like,
constantly on Molly,
yes. And then there's this
then
like
there's nothing.
They come back from the
And they wanna
honeymoon and
kill
no
themselves.
one cares.
And it's like, oh, I'm just here with you.
There's nothing to plan, and
Yeah.
here's just this guy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same guy that before we got engaged that
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And now it's
He's here.
forever. And so it's like, what do I do next?
Well, that's the thing with
Kids.
engagement. Like you could on Instagram, like people get so hyped no matter who. Whatever the thing that the person is engaged to. And I'm like, did we all see the picture? Like, why are we excited about this? Anyone could have locked this guy down in the world.
It's so it's not that impressive
It's not
to
impressive
get
at all.
engaged and married. And I used to always feel like a failure that I didn't have a boyfriend or I'm not getting proposed to. And I'm like, it's because I think I'm kind of picky, maybe. Like
Yeah.
I think I could
be.
probably have a boyfriend if I want. Like when I
Men
look
are
back,
picky.
I used to be like, "You're such a failure that you can't get a guy." Or I didn't really. I look back and so if I just think if girls are listening, being like, "I've been single for a while." I just gave advice recently to someone that was feeling bad about like I've never had a boyfriend and I'm so and so years old, and it was like, you could have. And everyone can. It's not that hard.
Right.
You just have standards.
Yeah.
And maybe you've been more picky, or maybe you just don't want one, and you're secretly. I think until like very recently, I just fell into that archetype of like women want to be in committed relationships, and they're always wanting it, and the guy doesn't, and I'm sad, and like my comedy fell into that. Like I was always just this like kind of scorned woman that like can't get a guy, and then I finally get a guy who's like, let's do this. And I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
What? And
Right.
I'm like,
Danger.
it was me all along. I was seeking guys like that, and I liked to tell the story where I'm the victim, but I was the one that was scared of commitment. I was the Chandler Bing.
Yeah.
I really was.
Totally. Wherever you
And
go,
I
there
still
you are.
am.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think like you like to work really hard for things. And I think what we've learned, in the 10 years doing this show is that the harder you work as a woman, a heterosexual woman in a relationship, the more it shoos men away. Like work less.
Yeah.
The hard work because
Don't lift
because when
stuff.
you work hard, that means the man has to work hard to show up for you. And that's not good. You're creating more of a
Oh
challenge for the
my
men with the way
God.
that you just are.
You are so right.
I learned
That's
because it's how I am. I'm like if I could just be a little bit better. Just achieve this one more thing. Be this smarter. Get my hair done this way. And I go, no, you're actually distancing yourself even more. You're creating a smaller pool. My therapist also yes-anded this, but I came to the conclusion by myself, and then I present PowerPoints in therapy.
Yeah, you
Like,
try
this-
hard.
This is what I learned. Yeah,
You prepare.
She goes, you're the only one who shows up and does their homework in
Like a
therapy. And I go,
syllabus.
well, I'm paying for it, and it's only.
I wish they gave homework. I
This is-
hate leaving, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
I
And they're
love a
like,
homework
let's just
assignment.
like
For
think
it.
about it and just a little bit revisit next week. And I'm like, we're not getting anywhere. Give me a fucking assignment.
Oh, I asked for it when I first started with her. I said, I'm someone who really does well in like a school setting. So I was like, can you
Yes.
give me an assignment every week so that I can make sure that I'm actively working on what I showed up to
That's
do?
so good.
Yeah,
I'm
so you
gonna
could-
start asking for that because I'm so just stalling out in therapy. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like therapists too. Like I took a break
need
from
work.
therapy. I was overdoing it, and I was like, all right, I'm done. And I took 2 years off. Now I got to get back into it. I work on
yeah,
that jealousy
I know.
thing.
I dip in and out
Yeah.
too. But you're so right about like the working so hard because it's true. I've worked hard in school and then at my career, and then getting a boyfriend, like something that's had eluded me. It's like, why wouldn't I put the work in? And then I was really into this book that Whitney Cummings recommended to me. It was Getting to I Do, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
that whole gist of that book is like, stop trying, like just act like you don't give a
Exist. Yeah.
and don't them.
I said, yeah.
That's the
too.
tough part.
That's the tough part.
With all areas of
let
life.
them in you,
Yeah.
or around you, or like in the same room
On
as
your
you.
eye.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
trying is resisting in that way.
right. It's it's like. It was just that was a big eye opener to me, and it's so hard to fake that and to
Yeah.
like not text back or like not be the first to text.
I
And
know.
I
have to
don't think I
distract
could do
yourself.
it now. Still,
It's a lot of mental gymnastics.
It is.
It's a lot of anxiety.
and again, but it is. That book helped because it was like giving an assignment. It was trying because
Yes.
it was like it gave a rule book on how not to try, which
Yeah.
is like what I needed.
yeah.
Because I just can't be just naturally cool. Who the like? I'm not.
Not me.
I'm never
Not
gonna
me.
be.
I'm thirsty and for like life.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
are
am.
thirsty.
And I'm so thirsty. I'm thirsty to see a ghost. That's why I'll probably never see a
Oh
ghost.
my God!
I'm
You
too-
want to see a ghost?
Yes, I'm trying to talk to them. I'm trying to train to be able to talk to ghosts to be a
That's
psychic medium.
so cool. You can train to do. I guess you can because it's there. You just need to tap into it.
Exactly. There's Arthur Findlay College in England that has
Whoa.
6-week programs. Yeah, and you could do online courses. But like, I see this. I'm like, I'm really thirsty for aliens too. Like, I just want. And I'm like, why isn't this happening? And then I'm like, this is because I want it too bad. They're
Yeah,
fucking
you
ghosting
need a
me.
getting to I do.
Yeah.
For ghosts.
Yeah.
But don't fuck them.
No, I know.
Yeah.
but
Definitely
I.
don't fuck
But I'm glad that the ghost. I was so scared of ghosts as a kid and aliens that I
Yeah.
think I I made an agreement with myself, like, they don't exist. Because if they
yeah.
do, you're fucked. Like I have to stay alone in hotel rooms every weekend, like, all the time. I would be so scared all the time.
Yeah.
So I've convinced myself, now I know they exist because Tyler Henry, celebrity
I love
I've
Tyler
watched
Henry.
every single episode of his
He's
show.
literally he's been the only thing that has convinced me there's an afterlife.
Right.
So Lauren,
I didn't
Jackson-
believe in God
legit.
until him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
no, I liked it. I mean, I believed in like this. Obviously, this isn't random how this all happened.
Right.
Something created it, but I didn't believe in an afterlife and like spirits and realms until Tyler Henry, which is so funny that a Netflix show
Yeah.
where this guy, but he's just so legit to me.
Yes.
and I just know now that it's like I'm grateful it's something that I can't see, and ghosts don't want to talk to me because I'd be so
Totally.
scared. I
Well,
don't want to see
they're
an old
most-
man.
They're
in
mostly nice. They're not
Confederate
mean.
gear, like sitting on the edge of my bed, looking at me in the middle of the night. That's
Yeah.
so scary. You want to see that?
No,
you
I
want
wanna
to wash
see
your
that.
face and then look up and go, ah! Like, you want to be like,
I don't know.
back
You
up.
know,
Oh,
so
door.
there's
I don't
this
know.
thing like whenever I go to a haunted house, I get like really horny. Maybe it's I don't know. Like I'm just
Okay.
it's not a horny thing, but like meaning like I'm drawn to the afterlife. I don't know why.
I think it's
I
so
don't know
cool.
why.
Pursue it. I
Yeah.
love like trying, like that you are going to a school to learn how to do this new thing.
It's just so weird and magical and powerful.
Well, I like that like later in life you can get into stuff that you've probably always been into, but kind
Yeah.
of been maybe ashamed that you were into it
Oh,
or like
yeah.
just didn't
I didn't
know
know
how to
talk
get
about
into
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to be a singer, like a pop star. That's always what I wanted to do my whole life and like was not good at singing or anything. And then I just like started taking singing lessons and I'm like, and spending all my money. I like train I train
That's
like I'm doing
incredible,
stand-up
though.
comedy. Like
That's amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
in voice lessons like 2 hours a week and then I train outside of that and I'm like, I'm just gonna try, even though I suck still, and it's so fucking hard, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's not, it's, I look at it as like, oh, stand-up didn't come fucking naturally.
Right.
I had a
Oh, yeah.
knack for it,
Yeah.
sure, but no one was like excited about, no one's good right away at things.
Right.
Like so few people are just talented out of the gate. Even Beyonce, like there's this book that I love called The Talent Code, and it's about how, it even talks about Beyonce in it and how we all look at her just like, she's just pure talent. It's
She
like,
works her ass
she didn't have a childhood. She was like a Jackson 5 child in
Yes.
terms of how much she worked. She got those 10,000 hours in before she was 12.
Yes.
So don't think she just came out singing and dancing like that. Like, obviously she has some, but she was born with like good vocal
She
cords
got a
and like,
gift.
yeah,
Yeah,
she has a
but
gift,
she
but
used it.
she would not be Beyonce unless she put that work in. That
100%.
is a total thing that's like, you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
If you want to get things.
and
I
you
think
can be whatever you want. Like you can.
kind
You just
of
gotta
can.
fucking work. Then that's where people fail because it's like, well, it's because you didn't put in the work, not because you didn't,
Well,
like you're
especially
not
in
good.
2023, where it's so inclusive now, you really can be anything you want. I would say
Yeah.
maybe 20 years ago you couldn't,
Yeah.
but now you literally can.
But you have to work. And I just thought as a kid that you were either born with it or
What's my
weren't.
gift? Do I have one?
Like,
no?
and they
Okay.
kind of treat you like that. Like
Yeah.
I remember when you pick a musical instrument, they like
Yes.
make you play each of them, and they kind of just watch you just like hold a clarinet, and they're like, not your thing, and you're like, well, this was my dream until this guy.
They did a casting couch for instruments
they
for
did.
you.
I wish they made you. They totally did.
I
just
picked
had
the
to pick
violin
it.
on my
Oh,
own.
really? They
I
made us,
tried,
like-
I tried flute and I tried violin, and then I was like, violin is for me.
We didn't get to hold the instrument. We just
we
picked
went
it.
around to stations, and like the instructor was kind of like, nah, I don't see this far. And then they were like, you're a saxophone, and so I was like Bill Clintoning for a year. I was
Lisa
terrible at it.
Simpson-ing.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That might have changed it for me. Had my parents not watched The Simpsons.
I
but-
always wanted to play sax because of Lisa Simpson. Like,
That's so true.
she's so my vibe. Yeah.
That did make it cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got discouraged so much early on by people just being like, you don't have
Nah.
it.
Yeah.
Like this it thing. I've never had it about fucking nothing's
Yeah.
ever come naturally to me.
Yeah.
And that's why stand-up's good, is because you can't start till you're an adult.
Yes.
No one's like, you got it. Like, that's
Right.
why I kind of like I've just figured this out, is like, if you're a singer or an actress, when you get to be 18, sorry, these kids have been doing it since, if you start at
True.
18, you're late to the game.
Yeah.
But stand up, if you start at 18, you're a baby.
You're a prodigy, yeah.
No one starts
You're
that.
Matt
like,
Rife, yeah.
It's that, you're Matt. I started at 18. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that I
Yeah.
stumbled into it and just happened to start that young, because you have such an advantage, because it's going to take 10 years, because
Yes.
everything takes that long in
Yeah.
the arts to get really good at it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best examples of the effort you put in is what you get back. Like you can't, like if you work hard, you're going to get good guaranteed.
It's
like,
working. It's exactly the same as going to the gym, is doing stand up. It's like the amount of time you take off, you get soft and but you have muscle memory, you can get it back. It's like, it's the perfect analogy for a bunch of people who don't go to the gym.
What's the longest you've ever gone without doing stand up since you started?
I mean, COVID, which was so nice.
Yeah.
And like, that was, I loved it because it was easy to not do stand up because no one else was doing it.
Yeah, there's no FOMO.
That's what keeps me doing it.
Okay, so
because other people are doing it, Corinne, and I can't let other people get better when I'm sitting on my ass.
I've lost sleep over this because I had the same thing. I was like, this is perfect. The whole world shut down. I can finally take a break. I'm eating carnival food in my living room. But then I realized that so many people got TikTok famous during then, and now I like beat myself up. I was like,
we're working
videos. You should have been on TikTok. You could have been TikTok famous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And the one time you took a break, you didn't deserve it, and you it up, and your fear of stopping and having other people get ahead of you was realized, and it's all over. Start again.
It's not over at all. But you're right. I had the same moment of like, oh, there was something to be doing.
Oh, there
during
was
that
something
time.
to do.
But what it taught me was that it's like, it was compulsive. I wasn't even enjoying it anymore because I was just like, I have to get on stage because there's some other girl getting on stage tonight and she's gonna eclipse me. I wasn't worried about men. I never worry about men for reason.
Really?
But there's some other young girl who's gonna take my spot in this world, and I gotta, I want her to be as good as possible. So good, I want her to go, but I gotta keep up with her.
Yeah,
I want to compete against the best. But like,
totally.
I'm always thinking about that, and that's what motivates me to ever go out and do stuff. But now I'm kind of like, let them catch up. You like take a break. You're old enough. You've done the work. Like, to take a night off. Like, I can kind of do that now, but it's easier. That's why I live in St. Louis, is like, I don't have to go out and do stand-up every night because there's no stand-up to do.
Oh,
so it's giving me I don't have to do podcasts every day. It's like, if I live here or LA, I'm compulsively saying yes to things because then otherwise I'm atrophying and these people are getting stronger and I'm getting weaker, and it's just like, just the competitive nature of it.
Does that affect? Are you in a relationship at the moment? Does that affect?
Yeah.
Does that affect your relationship? Like, do you come up against that, or is he in the industry?
He's kind of in the industry. He's in radio, and then he also is a TV producer. He's never had a problem with me like prioritizing doing stand up or spots. Like, it's maybe a couple times it's been like, you do it every single night, like, and it's been like a little bit annoying, but no, he's always like kind of been inspired by my work ethic, which is
great.
Nice. Yeah, because I would be annoyed if I dated someone that had to be out every night doing something.
Me too.
And that they didn't even enjoy. Like, a lot of times they're complaining about it.
Yeah.
Now I'm at a place where I like enjoy it, and there are some times where it's just like, oh, I said I'd do this set and I don't want to go. But it used to be I hated every single moment, and now it's like I like it but it's tough because anything you enjoy, once you monetize it, it starts to like
it stresses you out. It's stressful.
And when people are paying, like I liked when I was going to clubs and it was like, people were always like, ugh, these people aren't here to see me. I'm like, good.
That's good.
I get to win them over.
Yes. That's my favorite.
The bar is low. They don't expect anything. And now they're like, they've watched all my clips of my best moments.
Yeah.
And they're showing up expecting like, this was nothing like her roast compilations on YouTube, or like, she's talking about suicide, or like, whatever it is I'm like dealing with that day.
Oh, that's right. You did say something really dark at the Improv recently, and I loved it.
I'm like really
honest.
going there.
Yeah,
yes. I plan on myself some days, I think was the bit that and I don't think there's anything wrong about saying that. Like, I don't want to die of like a horrible disease, so I'll probably get one and then like kill myself because of it.
Yeah, like an
but
assisted suicide.
Yeah,
that's the spirit.
My joke is I'll get my niece to cyberbully me. It'll be assisted.
Call me a fag. On Facebook.
I'm talking a lot about that kind of stuff on stage. So just stuff that because I'm always looking for like, what's the next thing that like I feel like I've said everything, and it's like kind of like overshare. All you do is talk about your pussy and anal sex and stuff, and it's like, I never talked about those things, as you guys know. I'm like preaching to the choir. Yeah. We're not talking about them because we're like, this will be titillating. Yeah, right. People will really think I'm special, and I'm going to challenge people, and they're going to be offended, and I'm going to shock and awe that like when people seem to characterize female comics who talk about sex like, we've found some shortcut and like it's just like a crutch, but it's just like what we're interested in. And I was saying to you guys before we started the show, like, I'm just like less interested in sex in general now, and so I don't talk about it on stage as much. It's like
But do you feel like people like are like, I feel like that's like, people criticize female comedians for talking about sex so much, but then it's like, well, we talk about it also because it works and because it's what you like to hear it, and we can tell that by the immediate laughter and
That is a really good point.
when we're there.
Yeah, because
like I
yes,
tried
so-
talking about other things, and guess
Y'all
what?
don't wanna hear it.
I have a great bit about catch and release fishing that I'm excited about. No one else is.
Unless
Yeah.
you
And I think
relate
it's a
it
great
to
premise.
dating or something. Yeah. No, you're so right. I feel
Yeah.
like it does. In that way, it is more shocking, and so it does get a better response when
Right.
when we are willing to talk about the stuff. And sorry, women aren't. The reason that it's interesting is that women don't talk about sex that much. It
Yeah.
seems like now everyone does because there's been this
Renaissance.
movement, a renaissance, of like women openly talking about it. But it's interesting because they didn't forever, and
Yeah.
they still don't. Girls still go into sex not knowing what the fuck to do. They're still getting wasted because they're so nervous about it. They
Yeah.
don't know what to expect in there. That's why I fucking talk about it, is because when I was in high school or college, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, I was so scared of sex, and I like to talk about things I'm scared of, and like I'm
Figure
really
it
just
out.
talking to like a younger version of me. Like, here's the deal, girl. It's not that
Right.
bad, and actually, here's a shortcut to like enjoying this thing, and like this is what it's gonna look like in there. Like, I'm drawn to that stuff more so. But
That makes sense though, because I think that's why part of the reason, my theory that men don't like it is because we are talking about it so openly and we're now sharing tips. So it's the same as like an employer doesn't like you talking about how much you're getting paid,
Yeah.
because then you guys can gang up, you can unionize, and you can revolt against the person that's been holding you down the whole time, your oppressor.
Now
I
we're
think
demanding
so I think that's exactly what's happening. It's
I'm
like,
never gonna talk about how much I get paid to have
like,
sex. So
like-
I will
Yes,
never.
correct.
now sexually we know what we deserve, what we
Yes.
should get, and so now men have to deliver on that, and they don't like that.
It's
Burr, burr,
a
burr.
really good point, and it works so well on me when guys say it's so easy, like what you're doing, or just like when there's just belittling you of like, oh, I wish I could talk about that, but I can't because I'm a guy. Like, you get away with talking about that, like just making it seem like I don't like any what's the word I'm looking for?
Criticism?
I don't like any kind of like implication that I'm taking the easy way out, that I'm
Right.
doing the easy thing. That clean comedy is you're so much smarter to be able to do clean comedy. It's like, no, I could.
That's just not who you are. That's not what you
I've
want to
done
talk
the
about.
Tonight Show 5 times. You think they let me talk about my pussy on the Tonight Show? I
Yeah.
can do clean material. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
But like lately, my hormones changed. I went through like a summer. I didn't masturbate for like 3 months. Like, I didn't
Whoa.
want to at all. Like, I was 0% into sex. Like,
What-
literally
why?
asexual. I don't know. But I started, my hormones, I think. And I just got on a supplement again, and I'm like,
Horny
juiced
again?
up. Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
It's so
Wait,
nice.
what
I
hor-
just said to my friend, I was like, New York is horny. And she was like, I think you're taking
just
that
horny.
HTP thing or whatever.
Oh, HTP.
I think that's what it's called. I
Okay.
could be wrong about it, but it's some supplement that I'm taking again, and I'm treating my depression. I think depression also played a part in it, but I just got it back, and it felt like. But it's weird because it's like when you lose your appetite, and you're like, I don't even. You get sad because you're like, oh, I'm missing out on meals and stuff, and I'm like feeling depleted nutritionally, but you're also like, but I don't crave something that I'm not craving.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I remember liking sex, but I don't care that it's gone because I don't want it right now. And
Well,
it just
'cause-
felt
yeah.
so sad. And I would just say to my boyfriend, like, can you just like me, and like, do I have to participate? Like, are you offended
gonna
if
be
I
asleep.
don't? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
can that be hot to you in some way, that if I'm just like free use or something, you know,
What do
like
you
I put
say?
Oh, that's like actually very popular.
it is.
I
I'm like,
used
can
to
we
do
get
that.
into that?
Yeah.
I used to do
Yes,
that.
I love.
I kind of like it too.
I know someone who engages in
baby.
it, and like, but the problem is, it's like, I feel like sometimes if you're not of a certain age or don't have a certain relationship with the person, it becomes it can be very demeaning to women if you're not kind of like on the same page about it. That's my
Right.
issue with it.
You have to make sure there's equal
and I'm also
respect.
talking about a very specific scenario that I can't
Yeah,
reveal. so-
exactly.
but it just like bothered me. You know,
Right.
I don't know that like a 23-year-old girl in her first serious relationship should really be engaging
No.
in that. You know,
No.
Yeah, save
even
that
though they're
for
wet
your
enough
40s.
for it,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm not wet enough to be free like all the time
Yeah.
for a guy to just stick it in at any time. I'd be like, it's not
Yeah.
gonna go.
Yeah, you gotta,
There
like,
was a
do
ti-
this or something. You know,
yeah,
something.
yeah. But I'm so glad it's back. I really thought I
It
was
is
like,
nice. I feel like a woman when I'm
done.
horny.
Yes.
My horniness makes me feel like a feminine, divine feminine, like, but I also use my, like, with the war going on, I get it's so stressful painful and so sad and so awful. And I realized like I just masturbate all day when I'm stressed.
That's really
All I
interesting
do is
because
come.
I think maybe that is maybe it. Like that,
Yeah.
what has spurred me to like start masturbating more is like I just stress,
Yeah.
and distraction,
Yeah.
Because it's like I'll order Uber Eats and I'm like, okay, I'll jerk off, and then Uber Eats comes and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to eat now.
Yeah.
I'm done eating. What? Okay,
I'll time it.
Can I jerk off again? Like
I'll
I
time-
just keep spinning plates.
I'll
of
time my
distraction.
DoorDash to when I'm done masturbating.
Yes!
Like it's gonna arrive.
Masturbating while you're waiting for food is the best. That's the
It's
move.
so good.
That's
And
the
then
move.
there's sometimes like a vibe when he hands off the like that, like you can almost go like, does he know I just like jerked off?
Yeah,
like,
he
Right.
is there a
senses it.
fantasy where he bangs it? Like, not that I'm
Porn
would do
messes
that.
me up in that. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
imagine what it does to guys, but like when you watch too much of the same kind of porn and then you go to get a massage, you're like expecting him to touch your pussy and you're like, oh wait, wrong world.
Yes, I watch those too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It fucks me up because I get really turned on during massages and I'll ask for a guy masseuse now. I used to like, ugh, I don't want a guy touching me. And then I got into massage porn and I was like, only men.
Yeah, I like only men just for the strength of it.
Yeah,
But
that
like
too.
I've had some dicks like kind of just grace my hand. Like when I'm just like laying and they just like
Right.
come by, like a flaccid penis rubs over. And you were like, once I can get it, but I think twice or more they know what they're doing.
They're trying to
And
knock on your door a little.
But I know what you mean. Like it is hot.
Yeah.
But I had a friend who got her like butthole fingered while she was getting a massage, and she's
That's
like this
advanced.
was so scary.
Oh.
It was she's like such a badass too, and she's someone who's like I've seen her like fight people, and like she's like scrappy and like stands up for like her friends. Like she's just someone like you don't fuck with. And it just shows you like what like how you think you would handle that situation. Like I
Freeze.
could see her being like, if before this happened, she would have been like, fuck that. You say something. She said she totally froze.
Yeah.
She didn't know what the fuck to do. She let it happen. Like, and it didn't go on more than that. It was just like a one-time little thing. But it completely did happen. She completely froze, said nothing, let the massage go on. She was so ashamed of herself for not standing up. So it's like, it was really a good example to me of like, no one knows what they do. If they get like, people are like, oh, if someone, you know, puts a gun to your head, what, like, you just,
You can't answer that question.
or if you can counter a bear, you're supposed to go. Like you just don't know what you're fucking gonna do. But it turned out this is such a great ending to this. She didn't say anything, and I was like, "Please, you gotta call the
Yeah,
place and tell them." She's like, "I don't want to see him again. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Like I got it, you know." Like I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna like push you to do that." But then she got a call from a lawyer that said, "Did you have a sexual assault
Holy
that happened on
shit.
this date because you are on the books and a client of mine is suing this guy and you were on the same day and got a massage? Did anything happen to you?" And she was like, "In fact, it did." And now she got a settlement from the place and is like got financially compensated for it.
Whoa.
So thank
Yes.
God. Yes. I know it all
Wow.
ended up being, you know, not good, but like it was just a yeah,
I froze. I had that happen to me
Really?
in Ireland. I was in Ireland and I got a massage and the guy like started touching my vagina.
No way.
And I froze.
yeah.
I froze and then
because you're naked and it's
Yeah.
a guy.
but because I watched massage porn, I was also kind of wet and I didn't want it to happen and I was like, that's uncomfortable.
Oh,
but
that sucks.
because we talk about sexual assault so often on Guys We Fucked and we have for 10 years, I already knew. I'm like, it's okay to get aroused if you're getting sexually assaulted. That's
course.
your body. Sometimes if like men, if they get sexually assaulted by another man, they'll have an erection and they have a lot of shame about that.
Yes.
But it's your body preparing like, all right, if we got to do this, just fucking
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
helping you get it over with.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I already knew not to feel it. So luckily
That's good.
I didn't feel any shame about it. I understood exactly what was happening as it was happening, which was weird because you feel like you're watching a movie that you're in.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, wow, froze. Totally
Well, that's
froze.
such an interesting thing, like the getting aroused while you're being molested. And I think that's like why I was just reading, because I talk about molestation on it, like I do a big chunk about it on stage. And my boyfriend, I've been quoting some statistic about like, I was like, 1 in 10 people have been molested. And he's like, you should check that stat. And I was like, you're right, I should. Like, what am I saying? And it's like, it's not that at all. But
so
it's,
many people have
it's
been
close.
molested.
I think it's 1 in 10 women during adolescence have had a sexual assault or some kind of weird instance. And then it's 1 in 20 guys. But I'm thinking
think it's
that
more than
number
that.
is more because of the gay, because it's usually a
shame.
man.
Yeah.
And so it's like on top of being molested, you're also feeling like you're gay, which is another
Yes.
shame thing. And it's like, it sucks so much. I really just want people to be able to like talk about having been molested, like the way people talk about, you know, like, oh, my dad beat me when I was a kid. You know,
Yeah.
like it's still uncomfortable. It's still like something we all take seriously, but it doesn't like, it's not record scratch at a party. Like you
Yes.
should be able to just say like,
I cannot
I got
agree
hit
with you
by a
more.
drunk driver driving
Yeah.
once. Like it should be like that. It's not your fault. You didn't ask for it. But for some reason, I think the reason pedophiles continue doing what they're doing is because
We
it's
don't
so
talk about
shameful.
it. Yes.
They know people will carry that shit to the grave most likely. And if people were empowered enough to go like, yeah, I was like just talk about it normally, and we didn't all go like, that was weird when he brought it up.
Yeah.
It would prevent more
molestations.
I
Yeah,
really
100%.
think so. But
And
it's like
kids
it's
would
easy
know
for
to
me to
say.
say. I haven't been molested, but I almost wish that I have been, because I want to give an example of how, not that I would think I would be able to handle it. It's almost like how I want herpes, just so I can be more open about it, to like give less
Like,
people.
it's okay.
If
But
I
no,
get herpes,
if you don't have it, ain't nobody hear you
no
talk.
one
Want to hear you talk about
no
it.
one wants to hear that. But that's why I like Joe List
Yes.
talking about it.
Yes.
He was the first person I ever heard.
He was so cool about it.
Oh, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And then Andy Haynes was really conversational about having been molested. And I hope I'm not saying anything out of turn, but he said it on my podcast once. So, but I thought that was the coolest thing, because I never heard anyone do that. And I was like, of course we should. In the same way that like women don't talk about having face work done unless they're with like their best girlfriends who like see
Yeah.
the stitches and have
Or
to like,
somebody asks, and you're like, all right, fine.
and you have to own up to it. But like everyone lies about it. But women used to lie about having their hair dyed. Like that was like a thing that you would have to like.
Really? I
They
guess
used to like
so.
be really ashamed. Like, no, this is my real hair
Oh,
color.
yeah,
And now
yeah,
we're all
yeah.
like, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not blonde.
Right.
We can maybe get there with face work.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's face work though.
Kathy Griffin did
Ain't
a
no
lot
shame.
of, I feel like made a lot of movement in that space. She's always been
She
extremely
did. And
open
Joan
about
Rivers.
it.
Yes.
Joan
She's
Rivers
like, I
is
got a whole
always
new
very.
face.
Yeah.
I know. I always love when women do that, but I
Yeah.
get why they don't. Like, sometimes I
Well,
get
let me
really
show
mad.
you.
Thank you. Sometimes I get really mad about like, J-Lo, just tell us that you've
Yeah.
had surgery. It's not a crime that you've had surgery. You
It
look
does more-
amazing.
yeah.
You got good surgeons. Like, it's fine.
The
You-
damage it does to pretend you looked perfect with no effort and no actual surgery and money
and then
time.
following all the things she tells us to do, and then you don't look like
Yeah.
her, and you just think God hates me, I guess.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the problem. I don't even care that they don't tell it, but it's like trying to sell me like a gummy. Like that's
Give me
gonna
a
do
fucking
the
break.
same work as a face.
It's not going to give you a
That is
nose
it.
job, dipshit.
But I get why they don't, because I was thinking about like Jennifer Grey. Like, remember when she got a nose job?
Yes, I always talk about this ruining her
Yes.
career.
It ruined her career because people were like, "That's sad." Like, you're
Ugh,
sad. It's not. Her
gross.
talent wasn't in her nose.
No.
She was still as talented. She got no work after that because everyone was like, "That's really embarrassing. You did that." So that's why people like. I'm
That's
not going to
fucked
name
up.
names, but that's why a lot of celebrities can't say that they've had work done, because everyone goes, "That's sad," and like
Right.
judges them. It's like such a shame. The Kardashians won't even fucking admit it.
Right.
They won't?
And we all know
Wait,
they
what?
have, but if they admitted it, we'd all go, not sad. But if we speculate, we don't. There's something about you don't like the way you look. That's sad. When everyone's trying to look different, why is
Right.
it shameful?
Right,
Women-
and you also go really slow. Like that's like the Lady Gaga approach, just like slowly
Slow.
shave off bits of your nose.
Yeah,
and then you
get
can only
lip
tell
by
if you
lip.
line up the photos, and you're like,
I
huh,
know.
interesting.
I go, what do we think happened to her? Erosion? Wind? Isn't
The
she like
ocean kept
the
crashing
Egyptian
against her
Sphinx?
face.
Yeah, it's like what?
And
What
chipped
do
away
we
her
think?
nose.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
you're
wait to
right.
do it. I'm gonna get a brow lift in like probably a year or two.
Hell yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to do it. But it's like, when do you find the time to do it? You have to go away. You have to
know.
plan a bunch of posts during that time where you're
Right.
healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I don't want to like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
right.
that's a move too.
Because you want to be like, to be effortlessly hot is always the goal. So
Yes.
that's why why women don't say like I did this, because it's so much work and
it's
it's so
much work.
exhausting.
I don't know when these people fit it in.
I don't know.
Because they're all like, they work like the Kelly Ripas and stuff. Like, you guys
Yeah.
are on TV every fucking day. How
Dude.
are you burning off your face?
I'm not, even that busy. I have a bunion, and I was like, it's been 10 years. I can't be off my feet for this long.
No, bunions. I have bunions on both, and you can't.
It's when am I gonna?
You're a
I
crutch
just want a
comic.
deal
Yeah,
that
crutch
gives me
comic.
enough
Yeah.
time and money to fix this bunion.
There's never going to be. You're stuck
Another
with it
COVID.
forever, and there's no like bunion separators that are gonna make your bones
I know.
fuse the back. They're Corinne. We're done. It's because the goddamn high heels.
Get your bunions
Oh,
fixed
it's
when
the
you
Spice
retire.
Girls, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For
Oh,
me,
yeah.
yeah, it was
Yep.
my solidarity with the Spice Girls.
I want to make sure we get you out of here, so we have to wrap.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
But thank you so much. Where can we get
F-Boy
more of
Island.
you? Yes, F-Boy Island. When do you want to promote?
Please
Let's go.
watch it. It's on Amazon, but it's on CW every Monday.
Okay, cool.
And the premiere is this Monday, October 16th. I don't know when this is going to air, but it'll be on Amazon.
Okay, sweet.
And it's season 3 of F-Boy Island. It's like the best show that's ever been made, and sorry, The Wire, and it's
Yeah.
I love how much you love FBoy Island, honestly.
really
You
is,
really
like,
love it.
I watch the show and I'm like, the show is so good, but like when I'm making it, I'm always like, oh my god, I'm annoyed at anything I do. Like I don't ever want to watch myself, but this show is actually like one that I like to watch. When I come on, I go like, get it off. But like it's really like a compelling reality show. Plus it's funny, and then I'm on tour like all the time, so I love when people come see me on tour. Please, that's the number one thing. So yeah, NikkiGlaser.com and all that stuff,
Awesome.
and my
So
Nikki Glaser podcast. I do a podcast that I always forget to plug 2 times a week called the Nikki Glaser Podcast, and
Nice.
every week, yeah.
Yay, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on.
you so much, Nikki, for making the time.
Love
This
you.
has been Guys We Fcked, the anti-slut shaming podcast. We'll talk to you next Friday. Bye.